Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today, we have another Gun Gripe episode for you. We're going to be posing the question, how much ammo is enough ammo? This question gets thrown around a pretty good bit, right? So we're going to dive into the weeds on this. This should be a fun video. I think you might be surprised on some of the ideas we might have, so stick with us here. Before we get started today, I'd like to thank our friends at Firearms Legal Protection. You know, their legal services will actually protect you if you're involved in a personal defense situation, or if you have a red flag law thrown down on you and they come in and confiscate all your guns. They'll actually provide legal support, and they have really, really fair fees. So if that's something you've been looking to get into, some type of concealed carry insurance, I know there's different folks out there. Firearms Legal Protection is cool because they are very affordable and they kind of stick to the beans and bullets of the situation in terms of having their lawyers on call, ready to go. Some states consider it like a prepaid legal service, and then others consider it more of an insurance. But the way to think of it is certainly as a concealed carry insurance. So if you are involved in a shooting, that can get you, in the right direction, get you the legal representation you need. Make sure you use the code IV8888 over on Firearms Legal Protection. You'll get yourself a great discount if you'd like to try out their services. All right, so let's dive into this subject. There's a lot on both sides of the equation that people look at this particular concept from. You ever notice how, like in the mainstream media, if you ever see something happen where, let's just say there was a drug raid and then they found some like guns and ammo or something along with like a drug stash, and the media always refers to, oh, look at the arsenal of weapons and look at the arsenal, the cache of ammunition and weapons that was in connection with this drug raid or whatever situation. The mainstream media always paints somebody that has like a lot of guns and a lot of ammo as being crazy or they're hell-bent on wanting to commit some form of a crime, or they're a criminal and they just don't realize it yet. And what's odd is a lot of us that are in the gun world, we always kind of chuckle when we see that stuff on the news because they want to paint even the smallest amount of preparation someone might have. Now, granted, if someone's doing the wrong thing, that's understandable, but we're just saying your average person that just happens to own guns and have a decent quantity of ammo, a lot of us will chuckle and think like, wow, that's... I know you've seen the joke running around like, that's not an arsenal. You know what I mean? Like the term arsenal is so negative and has this negative connotation to it, right? And then, people that stockpile and keep quantities of ammunition in stock are somehow bad or wrong for doing so. And of course, that's not true, but they try to paint that picture.
Well, in a fantasy world, I'd like to be like, McDuck and, have a like silo full of ammunition, and I'd dive into it and swim around in it, that sort of thing. That would be maybe enough. I mean, just to satiate me for a little while at least.
That's right. Well, I'm gonna bust your bubble here for just a moment, though. Now,
I can't have a silo?
The issue, you can have a silo if you want.
A big silo?
The issue, though, now, just in case y'all don't know this.
Physics?
If Scrooge McDuck were to dive into his coins, he would break his neck and die. You don't. Coins don't just displace like water. You're going to just snap your neck.
His grandchildren would inherit his wealth.
And his bones and corpse. But yeah, if you had a giant silo full of ammo and you dove into it, you would snap your neck. So that's not scientifically possible to dive into it like water. So as much as we want to do that, we can't.
So when we were talking about this concept, one of the main things that came to my mind was back when we had kind of the other ammunition shortage, it was a .22 shortage, right? .22 just disappeared off the shelves. Like this was back in the early 2010s, roughly, give or take, somewhere right around that ballpark. Yeah, but you started seeing the shelves just dry, okay? People would go to Walmart right when they opened up, when they were stocking the shelves. They'd go to Academy Sports. They'd go to Bass Pro, Cabela's, all the big shops, and they would just clear them out on ammunition, and then they started limiting you on .22. They'd bring their entire family in there with them, and everybody would buy a box or two, or whatever the limit was. And at the time, I didn't really have a good stash of .22 ammunition. And I had to bum some off of Eric just to let my son at the time, my oldest son, go and shoot with me. We'd take the 1022 out or the little CMMG 22 kit or something like that and go out and plink. So, I learned my lesson after that. I'm thinking, I'm never going to be in this situation again. So after the ammunition started coming back into reasonable supply, okay, I started purchasing 1,000 rounds here, 1,000 rounds there. If a case was a great deal, like at one point you could buy Agula, cases of Agula 22 for $189, and we're talking 5,000 rounds of ammunition. It was a no-brainer. Stock up on it. I bought 15,000 rounds of the stuff. And at one point I did an audit of my 22 ammunition, and I was sitting on roughly 50,000 rounds of 22. Now, that might seem like a big number for some of you guys, but if you shoot as much as we do, it goes by real fast. Like, I usually run through about 5,000 rounds at least every range day we go to because we take the machine gun out.
Yeah.
But some people might bat an eye or not bat an eye at that and say, like, God, I've got 500,000 rounds of 22 ammunition. So it's all based on like your needs, your wants, your budget. But is there really like a limit to how much ammunition that you could foreseeably own? No, there's not. Even if you might get considered to be, the devil in disguise, just because you have a bunch of 22 ammunition laying around, or even, whatever, any other centerfire calibers, you just have ammunition to, basically future-proof you. Because as of right now, I still have a good quantity of that ammunition left, and I haven't purchased 22 ammo except for match rate ammo for like the Voodoo and such. And, I'm not going to pay the, 10 cents, 11 cents, 15 cents for bulk, pack 22 ammunition that is currently the going rate. Right now I refuse to because I have a supply of it that I paid pennies on the dollar for. But anyways.
I think that it's certainly relative, right? As to what individuals' needs are in terms of what they need for ammo. Mm-hmm. And, if you're the kind of person, like we shoot a lot of full auto rimfire, mm-hmm. Machine guns. So we're going through a ton of rimfire ammo on a regular basis. And even though, you're talking, 50, 60,000 rounds or some, huge quantity of ammunition that you're running, it's still sort of relative that, for the same amount of money that you'd be able to buy a certain amount of centerfire ammo for, you can still shoot rimfire a lot more. Yeah. So when you're running machine guns, 22s are an attractive option just because of the reduced cost, and a lot of people use 22s to train. We're not going to dive into that because we all know that 22s do represent a considerable savings for training and plinking and hunting and recreation and you name it. It's just cheaper, period, to shoot when you're dealing with 22s across the board, compared to other things. Now, I remember during the 22 shortage that Chad is discussing, I was buying up 5.45 ammunition, and I think that I was paying 9 cents a shot. Mm-hmm. Maybe 8 to 10 cents a shot.
Yeah, when 7 and 6 was real plentiful.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I bought so much of that stuff. Now when you look at the price of 22 long rifles, sometimes getting up into 11, 12, even 15 cents a shot, we're talking for bulk, plinking ammo. That makes that 5.45 cartridge I purchased for 8 or 9 cents a shot a very good move.
Yep.
Because now I've got centerfire, good quality mil-spec ammo, 7 and 6, that I can go machine gun that stuff to heck and back for the price that I would be machine gunning 22 now. Right? So there's sort of a saying that comes along in the ammo world. We say you buy it cheap and you stack it deep. Mm-hmm. I remember when the 54 rimmed Mosin ammo was coming through and everything, and you could get the 880 round cases. And I want to say at one point it was like $40 a tin. And I remember you could buy the 880 round cases for $89 shipped.
Yep.
Shipped. And I bought so many of those things I was running out of places to put them.
Look, the funny thing is, at the time, Mosins were like,
were $89.
Yeah, they were like
$79.
So you're thinking like, God, I can buy a rifle and I can buy an entire crate of ammo that will last me probably 2 or 3 years for $200.
So the weird thing about ammo and guns, and when you look at like surplus, that world, the strange thing about it is that when you see an entire warehouse full of Mosin crates, full of, 9130s, or you see an entire warehouse full of, floor to ceiling ammunition, right? 54 rimmed ammunition. Could you imagine being the guy that went over and bought that stuff from Russia and the Ukraine and all of these areas, and you went in there and you're going, wow, there's so much of this that we're going to have to sell it so cheap to get rid of it because there's just simply so much of it.
At that point, they sell it damn near by the pound.
By the pound, right. You weigh down the shipping container and go, how much does it weigh? All right, we're going to pay you based on that. So the thing is, when there is such a incredible supply of something, it's almost hard to not think, oh, well, we'll never sell all this, right? Look at all this stuff. There's so much of it. We will never sell all of it. But one day, the fountain eventually dries up. The spring will eventually dry up. I mean, I remember when the GP11 ammo was still pretty freaking affordable. When the Swiss K31s really came into prevalence and they started bringing in a lot of the GP11 service ammo, I think the cheapest I remember buying it for was, I wanted to say those crates are like 420 rounds or some odd number like that. 480.
I think they're 480 rounds.
I think they're 480, and then the battle packs are 60 round battle packs. But I remember I used to order that ammo from a guy named Dan, and you could order a case of GP11, and he would give you 10 stripper clips for free. And I think it was like $149 or $169, and then like another $12 or $15 to ship the dang crap. Yep. And now you can't even touch those chargers for less than like $10 or $12 each.
The ammunition.
He was giving the chargers away because he had thousands of them in gondolas.
The ammo now is about $1 or more a shot.
Yeah.
But the last time I purchased some of that stuff, I bought two cases of it, and I got it from Widener's on sale for like $229 shipped each.
Yeah.
You know, no charges with it or anything, but I mean, we've still been working on those cases for videos as of now, and that was probably 5-6 years ago.
A lot of that Swedish, when we did the AG42 video, I had a bunch of that Swedish sniper ammo, the M41, legit sniper ammo. The point I'm making, I suppose, in this video, so we get back to the question of, all right, well, how much ammo is enough ammo? If you come across something and you go, wow, that's a great price, I wouldn't mind having some of that. If you get to the point where you've reached the social, economic, emotional response to where you go, okay, I have achieved purchase, like I want this, right?
You have disposable income.
If you have the disposable income and the price is attractive, I would say the answer would be to buy as much of it as you could probably afford to buy at the good price. Like I say, buy cheap and stack deep. Now it's harder to do that now in the current market. Just because the prices have been a little silly. I think a lot of folks are buying just what they can afford when they can get it. I'd imagine a lot of folks are going out and shooting and setting a particular ammo budget, and they're saying, all right, I'm going to spend this much ammo a month. I'm going to go out and train. Shoot with the kids, do whatever, go hunting. Hunting season is upon us. I've been talking to several friends of mine that are like, hey, I went to my local big box store to purchase 3 or 4 boxes of hunting ammunition. Most guys can probably get through hunting season with just a few boxes, really. If you've got your favorite deer rifle, it's already sighted in. You go out each season, you check your zero, you go out, you do your hunting, and, most guys aren't going to go through a ton of ammo, right, if they've got their favorite rifle. But even guys that are just like, hey, I'm trying to find my favorite old, Alt 6 load or whatever, or maybe you got an oddball like a 35 Remington or a 444 Marlin or something like that, or even a 4570, lots of folks have had a hard time finding even just the basics, right? So, let's just say years past, right? 4 or 5 years ago, I had an opportunity to buy up a certain type of 30-06 ammo that I like to use on a regular basis, the 220s. And I found a bunch of it for like $18 a box. And I bought way more of it than I knew that I would need. And now you can't find the 220 load to save your life. But here I am sitting on plenty. So to future-proof your situation, if you do have the extra money and the price is attractive, there's never a bad idea to buy a good quantity of ammunition. All right, there's another reason you might want to buy larger quantities of ammunition. Lot numbers, all right? This is something to consider.
Yep, I was going to mention that.
When you buy ammo all at one time in one lot number, that ammo is more consistent, right?
Yep.
So that's a nice thing to have, is the better consistency of the ammunition being the matching lot number. Instead of buying a little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, it's all the same cartridge, it's all the same manufacturer, but there might be some slight variations from lot to lot.
Yeah. All right, so on that vein, when you consider how much ammunition is enough, all right, think about, all right, if you're a competitive shooter, all right, so the answer to that question may be on an annual basis, okay? How much ammunition do I need to get me through this year's worth of matches that I'm going to attend? You plan to attend all these different matches, say it's one a month, and you budget out your ammunition and you buy it on a yearly basis, well, you're going to probably buy the same lot number of ammo, because in a year, depending on what you're shooting, you might burn up a barrel, easily.
True.
But the lot numbers are especially important for match shooters, but also can be very important for hunters as well. But if you're a hunter, and you can afford it, buy a couple hundred rounds at a time. Like buy a package, a case of that particular ammo. Most of the hunting stuff and all comes in 200 round cases. That's enough ammo to last most hunters their entire life, in the big scheme of things. I mean, unless you're killing like 15 deer a year or something, like some of these crazy rednecks that I know.
I do shoot
a lot of deer.
I do shoot a lot of deer.
But, all right, now, thinking about this question in a practical sense, all right, most people who are gun owners are kind of practically minded as far as emergency preparations and all go. We've talked about this in several other videos about being self-reliant, right? And each of your core calibers, when we think of core calibers, we think of 12 gauge, 9mm, 5.56, possibly 308, possibly 45, but mainly 5.56 and 9mm and 12 gauge. Just like most fiscally responsible people would like to have at least like $1,000 in like an emergency fund, or like $1,000 sitting in their checking account at any given time before they get paid, that they don't spend, think about an ammunition ration that you don't ever go below. So I would say at least everybody needs to have a 1,000 round case of their favorite ammunition that they would normally run, if it's defensive load, if it's FMJ, whatever the case is, and stash it and forget about it, and then have enough to load up magazines for emergencies and things like that. That's me, okay? I would say 1,000 rounds, bare minimum. And because that way, if things do ever go south and crazy, you have ammunition to barter for things that you might need. You have ammunition to defend yourself and your home and family and community with. I mean, we go over this all the time, guys. I mean, this is like preaching to the choir. You guys know the mantra here.
There's nothing wrong with being prepared.
No, absolutely not.
You know what I mean? That there anybody that would sit there and tell you that you're crazy for wanting to have a few guns and some ammo, they're just not based in reality, right? I mean, when you look at, I think Chad was telling me he was telling me something the other day about some statistics involving like people that actually engage in gardening and actually grow their own food, and it's like less than 1%.
So
of U.S. citizens actually even grow their own food.
Back before the 1950s, about half of the country, 45% of a normal family's household food needs were provided on their own property, okay, by gardening, by raising livestock, chickens, eggs, that sort of thing. Now, that number in modern times is less than 1% of a household's food needs are provided by themselves out of their own yard. So basically, like 1% of the population gardens and provides for themselves these days. So it's definitely fallen out of favor. The same thing goes with like being kind of self-reliant and having that mentality of, hey, I want some guns, I want ammunition, just in case.
I think my perspective is that someone who is not even capable of growing their own food or cooking their own meals and doesn't even, some person lives in the city that doesn't even have a can of Beanie Weenies in the freaking cupboard.
Yep.
Ain't got no business telling me what I should or shouldn't do, not only with my food preparation, but with my defensive preparation. Some guy or lady, whoever, look, I'm not saying that if you don't want to own a gun, that's fine, don't own a gun. But you don't have any right to judge me on what I have or what I decide to do when you are just a statistic. Like if something bad happens, you have no plan, like you don't even, so
look,
I'm not saying that, you can't turn around and get yourself into a level of preparation, but
the thing is, like,
I don't care what they think is what,
exactly.
what I'm saying.
So,
I
mean, how much ammo is enough is what you deem necessary for, yourself and your needs.
Yes.
Your needs are different than someone else's needs. I mean, like I mentioned, if you're a competitive shooter or something, you have to have more ammunition. If you like to train a lot, say you go every quarter and you kind of re-up on your training, or you take more advanced like CQB or pistol or rifle classes, that sort of thing, or say you're training to be a better long-range marksman and you're going out to like max ordnance and things like that, and you're taking long-range shooting classes, or you're taking some of the like LE type classes where you're shooting from high and low angles and things like that. All that stuff requires ammunition.
More trigger time.
And like me, I've been trying to shoot the matches down at Arena, and the past 2 matches this year, well, the one that's upcoming, I'm not going to be able to go to because we're having range day the same day, but the previous one, we had a wedding to attend, so I didn't get to attend it there either. But I normally load up 300 to 400 rounds of ammunition for that match, and that gives me ammo to be able to prep my rifle, get my zero and everything dialed in, confirm it at long range, and get everything dialed into the Kestrel right, and then have more ammunition than I would ever think to need for that match, and have some left over to kind of proceed into the next iteration. But I always keep brass, primers, and components on hand, to reload that ammunition. That's something we didn't even get into. Like, having enough ammunition is one thing, but if you're a reloader, having enough components stashed away. I mean, we could go through the same thing with reloading components. You buy it cheap and you stack it deep until the time comes when you can't really find it, and then you're sitting on a little mini treasure trove, and you're sitting pretty and being able to feed your hobby while everybody else is out scrounging around and paying obscene prices for components. I mean,
right.
We could think about it the same way.
And sometimes components are a lower barrier of entry. Like when things are normal and you're talking I remember, I think at one point I was buying primers for like $25 for 1,000.
Oh yeah.
So
Easily.
yeah, you may not be able to afford $400 for 1,000 rounds of ammo, but you can afford $25 for 1,000 primers. Yeah. Well, they're not $25 now; they're way more now. And then the other thing, okay, so let's consider.
Yep.
Okay, let's say your average gun owner has a handgun and a shotgun and a hunting rifle, maybe a 22 or something. Let's just create this situation, maybe 4 or 5 guns, right? I'd say for every caliber, a couple of thousand of each. And I would stash those and pretend they don't exist and put them somewhere dry and cool and out of sunlight and where no moisture can get to them and everything like that. And then whatever you're going to shoot out of those guns, go and buy it and shoot it. So have you some mags loaded up with your defensive ammo, maybe some extra defensive ammo, some ball ammo set aside, a couple of thousand rounds of each caliber. When you want to go shoot, go to the store, buy it, and shoot it. And don't touch your stash. Just treat it like it doesn't exist. That's probably the best policy to have. And I would say for rimfire, I mean,
every time having
20 or 25,000 in reserve is probably not a bad idea. And then I would say every time you go and get ammo to go out and plink, buy a couple of extra bricks and just stash them with the rest, and then just grow your stash over time. I mean, you're never going to hurt having extra ammo laying around. It's as good as currency. It'll never lose its value. It'll only gain in value. I mean, ammo is, in of itself, a great investment.
It's a great commodity.
If you get into it at the right price.
As Eric mentioned, just set like a budget every week or every couple of weeks when you're paid or whatever. And instead of like, okay, well, I could go out to eat, with my wife or girlfriend or whatever the case is, and I could spend $40. Okay, because going out to eat's damn expensive. Right?
It is.
So $40 could buy you a small quantity of ammunition, especially if you find it for the right price. And, just like saving like $5 every week, and you kind of get like a nice honeypot, in 12 months. Same goes for ammunition. You stock up on it before you know it. You got 2 50 cal cans full of 9mm ammo. You're like, hey, where'd that come from? Oh, man. Yep. I mean, but
it will add up.
There's never enough ammo.
All right, I want to just say one more thing before we leave you guys in this particular video. Just something that kind of popped in my head here. I know it's tempting. Like when folks get into guns, they'll tend to go, oh, well, I've got enough money to build another AR or buy another Glock or buy this or that. And here's the thing. You wind up with, 10 or 12 subpar ARs that you built out of just bottom barrel parts, right? I would encourage people that if you've bought multiples or let's say you've got guns laying around in some weird caliber and you're never going to get any type of ammo quantity to do it justice, or let's say you look at a gun in your safe and you haven't shot it in a year or two and you probably haven't even thought about it for a year or two, sell that freaking thing, get rid of it, and take that money and buy ammo for the guns that you are going to shoot. Or sell off some of your lesser examples and turn it into one good example. Like, pick that one good AR, that one good pistol, that one good shotgun, and sell your 10 cheap shotguns and get one good one. All right? You might even have some money left over to go get some training, right? Take a class, get some training, buy extra ammo, buy extra mags, support your good guns really well. You know what I mean? Turn your several crappy things into one good thing. And that's, we've all been through that stage. I don't care what gun owner you are. Everyone has gone through that phase where they've had their entry level stuff, then a little bit nicer, and before they really get to the apex of what they want, here they are sitting on 4 or 5 of one gun design that they've gotten the cheap all the way through the middle ground. Sell that stuff off, move on. Someone else has to start somewhere. Move on, let someone else start there, and then work your way to the level you want to be at. Mm-hmm. And all of that stuff means nothing if you're not proficient, right? Get out and spend some time training. Take a class. Spend a little money to further your skills as a shooter, and further your skills and further the ambassadorship too. Like, further yourself in a way that you feel confident with your weapon, that you're using. I say weapon, but your rifle, whatever, right? So, and that could be hunting, that could be personal protection, doesn't matter. Yep. Just your ability to use a firearm as a tool. Improve that ability, and make sure you have the ammunition required to do so. And I think that's pretty important. And, don't skimp on stuff like night vision, thermals, good quality optics. Like, a lot of people have 10 crummy, cheap rifles that might work decent, but with like really crummy optics. Sell all that stuff off, and then get one good rifle and one really good optic. Maybe get your D-ball or your thermal, your night vision. Get a good setup, I'm just saying, consolidate a little bit if you're having a hard time feeding all the random guns you might have,
Well, children, we're going to take a commercial break. That's been Eric's words of wisdom. Until next time.
Maybe. But so the question does remain: how much ammo is enough? Well, you can never have enough ammo.
Never have enough.
That's just the bottom line. Okay.
Sorry, you guys had to wait the entire video to get that answer.
We really could have just told you that. And
look, there's gonna be those comments down at the bottom. It's like the answer is at 22 minutes and 43 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, get to the point.
Yeah. Well, we hope that we articulated things in a way that maybe some of you. Maybe there's anti-gunners even that might watch our channel, or someone that's maybe on the fence about gun ownership, and they try to understand, and to their credit.
Oh boy. And they're watching us?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
To their credit, though, I can understand someone that might be neutral and or anti-gun going, all right, well, I'm going to watch some of these gun videos and see what these people's mindset is. Have you ever thought about that? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, right? This information is just out there. We put these videos out. They're free to watch. They're on demand. You just click it. Here it is. So yeah, someone that opposes our view and doesn't quite understand where gun owners are coming from, these videos, I hope, give people an idea of what we're all thinking, right? I most certainly assure you that our intentions are pure, all right? It's very much in the same vein of the way people look at all other types of things, right? Look at all these people who went out and bought all the toilet paper.
God, here we go.
Do you really need all that toilet paper? The question would be, well, do you need it all? Why do you need all that toilet paper? Why fear buy the toilet paper? People are buying toilet paper because people are buying toilet paper. You walk by in the grocery store and you see people with carts of toilet paper, and you go, well, why are you buying all the toilet paper?
No,
I don't know, but maybe we should buy it.
This is what happens. They're like, why is that person buying all the toilet paper?
Yeah.
Hold on. It's like, I can't find anything on Google. I'm just going to buy some.
It's the weird, mob mentality where people go, well, man. You look at your wife and you go, well, how much toilet paper do we have at the house? I don't know, enough to last freaking year.
All right, look.
Well, let's buy more. Some of these people are probably sitting on piles of toilet paper that they'll never use, but they bought because they just felt like they need to buy it.
Look.
There's never enough. You can have what you want. If you want to have a pile of toilet paper, buy it. Who cares?
Smart people, smart people don't follow the crowd and see everybody else buying toilet paper in the store and freaking out because there's none on the shelf at the local Walmart. Smart people get online and say, who sells toilet paper online? Oh, look, this is who I buy toilet paper from, and it ships automatically to my house, and I ain't got to worry about it. Who gives a crap? That's the name of the company.
What?
Who gives a crap?
Who gives a crap?
Who gives a crap? They make bamboo toilet paper. Highly renewable, right? So I got online, and during the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, I was like, I'm just going to set up an account, and I'm just going to order some toilet paper. And it was readily available. And boom! boom, 48 rolls on my doorstep.
So
and I'm just people watching, you know.
So you can be green while you're dealing with the brown. Okay?
Oh God!
Put that on a shirt.
Oh man! If they're
Anyway,
watching this, they're gonna put that on their box from
The
now on.
point I'm making, though, is you do you. You do what works for you.
Man.
We'll do us. And look, the world's going to keep on spinning. If you
Yep.
don't agree with gun owners and you don't understand why we have so much ammo and why we want to have so much ammo, look, I may not be able to help you if you don't understand it after this video. I mean, there are many very valid reasons why it's very important to have ammunition. It is certainly like a currency, and it will always maintain its value. And look, think about it like this. Even if you hate guns, even if you would never own a gun in a million years, let's just say you have a pile of money and you're a venture capitalist. You could have a pallet of ammo in your garage. It's just going to sit there. You could buy it and speculate on it. It literally is an investment. Just think about it. I'm not saying lock up all the ammo and do that, but it is a good investment. So,
Hey
anyway,
man, what you got in your vault, man?
yeah, what is that? Well, it's some ammo I bought. Well, why? I don't even own a gun. I just thought it'd be a good investment. Anyway,
Bah.
hopefully these videos provide some insight where some of us gun owners are thinking. I'd like to think we represent gun owners.
I mean, I'd like to think that you can kind of get into our heads, but it might be kind of dangerous sometimes.
You may not want to go there, yeah. Okay, well, look, thank you so much for watching today's Gun Gripe. We hope you enjoyed it. I think this is a pretty thought-provoking episode. Sorry, I can't talk today. The coffee's
More
outlined.
coffee!
Yeah. But big thanks to all of our Patreon supporters who support us monthly. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Also, go over to Ballistic Ink.
Get you a Roof Korean
Pick
shirt.
yourself up a snazzy t-shirt. That's a good-looking t-shirt. Look at that. All right. And those funds obviously go to supporting the channel. So if you want to support us directly, those are most certainly ways that you can do so. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you next time. Many more videos coming at you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye-bye.